Merry Christmas from the management and staff at ABS.
Live from the capital city of St. John's, this is Antigua Barbuda Today.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Antigua Barbuda Today on this terrific Tuesday, the 27th day of November 2018. A warm welcome wherever you're joining us in the world. It's a pleasure to have your company with us this morning, as every morning, pretty much. We really appreciate the fact that you've woken up with us. You've made us as quintessential as part of your morning routine as your coffee or your tea or whatever you use in the morning. We really appreciate it. We say a very good morning to those joining us on television, on radio, and online, as well as on mobile as well. This is Antigua Barbuda Today. 3 hours of the very best information to start your day. We start with 1 hour of news called the News Hour, and it is focused on everything news related. National news, regional news, international news, sporting news, birthday news. Plus, of course, we have some time at 6:30 to go beyond the headlines, deeper, to give you more contextual information, more background on a subject that is making the news, that is dominant in the news. This morning, we focus on sports and using sports as a vehicle for the development of our youth and for national development. We speak with 2 coaches who are here to identify talent, who are prospective scholarship recipients to 2 prestigious universities in the U.S. We're talking about William Penn University and Drake University. They're here as part of a scholarship combine. They will be here with us at 6:30. Both coaches will speak with us about their experiences so far. They arrived in the island just last week and they started that combine yesterday. We will be having all that information for you a bit later on, coming up at about 6:30. Then, of course, we'll have the international news as well. We'll keep you across all those developments which are taking place around your world. Let's take a look, though, at the top stories that we're tracking nationally. Education Minister, the Honorable Michael Brown, has been hospitalized after suffering chest pains and complaining of chest pains yesterday. Local Reparations Commission hopes other European entities will offer reparatory justice now that the bar has been set by a UK-based university. And the postal workers to be relocated pending renovations to General Post Office. Strike activity or industrial action to continue in the meantime. Let's tell you about all the news in detail right after we come back from this short break. Stay with us.
Antigua Barbuda Today is brought to you by State Insurance Corporation.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Time now for the news in detail. In a short while, we'll tell you the very latest on the condition of Minister of Education, the Honorable Michael Brown, who was hospitalized yesterday. We'll keep you across that developing story in a short while. Let's though begin with news that Chairman of the Antigua and Barbuda Reparations Support Commission, Dorbreen Ahmad, says he is delighted that Glasgow University in the UK has agreed to provide reparatory justice to the Caribbean. Following years of research, the UK-based institution has discovered £200 million sterling in fees, endowments and grants were received from Caribbean slave owners. Glasgow is considering collaboration with the University of the West Indies to develop a research center to look into chronic diseases affecting Caribbean people. This is in accordance with a public health crisis point in the CARICOM Reparations Commission's 10-point plan.
The recommendations have said that in this Caribbean, that about 60% of all persons over 60 years of age of African descent are afflicted by hypertension, type 2 diabetes, or both. This particular health affliction has been a result of enslavement, the diets of enslavement, the tensions, the abuse that African people have endured over hundreds of years during affliction.
Now, news media in Jamaica have reported that an agreement has been reached for the UK-based university to repay the £200 million in cash and kind. However, UWI Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles says the universities are working through a memorandum of understanding built upon the principle of reparatory justice. He says there is no agreement about the repayment of £200 million to UWI itself. Ahmad urges the public to focus on the potential benefit of the proposed research centre, saying the reparations drive is about development, not money.
And I keep repeating this, that it is important that we see that as the benefit. Forget the money story, forget the 200, what is 100 million pounds, what is 50 million pounds, whatever it is a result, it has come as a result of the work that the Caribbean and partners all across this world have been doing to achieve the overall government-to-government, European government to Caribbean government, that full matrix of reparation.
Now, meanwhile, Mr. Ahmad expects other European entities to follow the example of the Glasgow University. He says the university's decision to provide reparations sets the bar for others.
That gets higher and higher until the governments themselves know, the overall government of governments of Europe that approve, supported, financed, passed laws in support of, provided ships, provided training, did everything possible for the enslavement of African people until it reaches there.
Now, he says this fresh success has given vigor to the local reparations drive.
I live in a country that 55% people vote against our own Caribbean Court of Justice. That's the country I live in. That's the country I work in. So when successes like this come and happen to us, to show that this work is not in vain, you understand our relation.
In other news this morning, and postal workers will be relocated to a temporary location as work is done to do further repair work on the General Post Office in St. John's. The workers downed the tools yesterday, citing unsatisfactory working conditions. The employees have vowed not to return to work until their demands are met. The Antigua Trades and Labor Union and the Antigua and Barbuda Public Service Association are standing behind the workers.
What I want you to do is to just chant, sing songs, we shall overcome, and these kind of things. Sing whatever, chant whatever. We're not going back to work until we get satisfaction. And those are the kind of things that we are standing with.
Now, Postmaster General Algernon Gomes says the Finance and Public Works Ministries are in discussions to resolve those outstanding issues. Scores of workers are to be relocated. Those discussions are ongoing to a temporary location, as we've indicated. The exact place for the temporary relocation, not yet definitively finalized, but those discussions are ongoing. Meanwhile, here is more from Wiggly George on the issue.
I do not want us to be out there and to be seeing that we're disrupting the Christmas service, that the people do not get their mails. But this time around, it is not your fault. And I must say for the first time, it is not Mr. Gomes and the management fault upstairs here. It's because of the rain that we have been having.
Protest action would have spawned these meetings yesterday, meetings with the unions as well as meetings with officials of the Ministry of Finance as well as the Ministry of Works. Those discussions ongoing, as we said. We spoke yesterday with Algernon Gomes, the Postmaster General, who indicated that he will continue those discussions today. Well, Barbuda is definitely open for business. Tourism officials welcomed the first cruise vessel to this island this week since the onslaught of Hurricane Irma last year. Windsurf from luxury cruise liner Windstar anchored at the sister island less than a month after the reopening of the luxurious Barbuda Belle Boutique Hotel. Minister for Tourism and Investment, the Honorable Charles Fernandez, said Windstar's return is the result of a lot of lobbying by the Ministry of Tourism, the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority, and cruise partners. Windsurf will make 9 calls to Barbuda this season, calling bi-weekly. The Barbuda Council's Chair of Tourism, Culture, Sports and Youth Affairs, Asha Frank, was present at the Barbuda dock on Sunday to greet cruise executives from the vessel. The Agriculture Extension Division will be providing technical support to local farmers of romaine lettuce. This comes as farmers are being asked to produce more now that the imports from the United States have been linked to an E. coli outbreak there. Extension Officer Owalabi Elabanjo says beginning early next year, assistance will be given to current and aspiring farmers.
We shall be conducting series of training from sowing the seed up to management before you get to the market of production of lettuce.
Banjo wants local farmers to supply at least 80% of demand for salad leaves in this country.
We are going to put up the list of all the lettuce producers in Antigua. We're going to compile the list so that it will be published, so that everybody in different areas will know who producing this particular commodity.
In other news now, a climatologist cautions that despite welcome rains this month, Antigua and Barbuda should brace for drought conditions in the future. Orvin Page made the disclosure at an event called Drought Talk at the Environment Division on Monday.
I'm just back from a regional climate forum in Barbados. When we look at the models for the next 6 months, we are seeing signs that the drought could be returning for Antigua and Barbuda over the next 6 to 12 months.
The climatologist explains the cause for the expected conditions.
And one of the main reasons for this is El Nino is returning, showing weak to moderate levels and running into spring of 2019. El Nino has been traditionally associated with dry conditions below average rainfall for the tropical region.
El Nino is a climatic cycle in the Pacific Ocean that impacts global weather patterns. Page says relevant authorities have already been notified about the forecasts to plan appropriately. Well, the government is moving to make available the latest advances in antiretroviral or ARV treatment to persons living with HIV and AIDS. Health Minister the Honorable Malvin Joseph says his ministry will look to procure a single pill that effectively treats the disease.
There is a single tablet now that is developed that can treat AIDS to reduce or almost eliminate the viral load.
He says the treatment will soon be available right here.
And we are going to be getting that single tablet for our citizens here. I've already asked my senior staff to investigate how we can procure that.
Now, the ministry is on an awareness campaign against the disease, which was first identified in 1981. A series of activities will culminate in the observance of World AIDS Day on the 1st of December. More from health, because the minister, the Honorable Malvin Joseph, has revealed plans for legislation to ensure standards governing all medical facilities in this country.
All those private clinics with doctors, all those nursing homes, they must come up with standards that are internationally acceptable. And the Attorney General now has been mandated to Cabinet to bring back the bill for debate.
The Health Minister says there were plans to standardize these institutions 2 years ago, but there was pushback from a medical fraternity.
Had we such standards, it would not be necessary now for us to be talking about medical malpractice.
There have been calls for further scrutiny of medical practitioners and facilities following the death of Esme Stevens after a medical procedure at a private health facility. Meanwhile, the minister also revealed plans for the discussions are taking place for medical liability insurance. Well, the countdown is on because the first female team from this country is mere weeks away from participating in the world's toughest row. Team Antigua Island girls are in London making final preparations to participate in the Talisca Atlantic Whiskey Challenge. It's a 3,000-mile journey from La Gomera in the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa to English Harbour right here in Antigua.
We had the boat for about 2 weeks, and we had to learn how to use all the new systems, the electrical system, the water maker, the foot steering. Yes. So we were underwater a couple of times, yes, and it went very well.
Well, they admit adjusting to the colder temperatures has been quite a challenge. However, they are, confident they are mentally and physically prepared for the upcoming journey, which officially starts on the 12th of December.
We leave on Friday to La Gomera. And that's where the workshops, all the seminars, the crisis operations, the mandatory inspection and everything else will be happening. And then we start December 12th.
Now, they're thanking their families, friends, and the public for the support thus far and are looking forward to returning home. Meanwhile, there are words of advice from Aurora Eli Fuller, one of the handful of Antiguans who have completed this grueling challenge.
My advice to the girls is, look, you know, you gotta accept it, and as you gotta take it one day at a time. Just like when you're rowing, you gotta take it one shift, 2 hours at a time, and you know, don't try not to get yourself too homesick. To start rowing, you gotta just focus on the row and not be consumed with homesickness and you know, missing the family too much.
The very latest now on a story that we have been tracking overnight, because Education Minister and Member of Parliament for All Saints West, the Honourable Michael Brown, is to receive further medical attention overseas. The minister is expected to be flown out of the island within the next 24 hours after being hospitalized Monday evening. He complained of chest pains and was taken to the hospital. It is not clear at this time what led to the chest pains, but ABS News understands that medical staff at the Mount St. John's Medical Facility have confirmed or recommended that he get further medical attention overseas. We will keep you updated on this developing story. But the minister taken to the Mount St. John's Hospital yesterday after complaining of chest pains. It is believed to be related to heart conditions, but it's not clear at this time yet. The chest pains are being looked at by the hospital. They were able to stabilize him, and they're recommending that he be flown overseas for additional medical treatment. So the minister, a stable condition, we understand, but he's to be flown out of the country within the next 24 hours for medical attention. We'll keep you across that developing story as well. Turning now to sports, and Jennings Grenades and Old Road pick up wins in the ABFA Premier Division on Monday night. Sandals Inet Grenades blanked Samantha Marshall Sap FC 3-0. Vashami Allen, Andres Remy and Terran Williams were on target for the victors. In the second match of the doubleheader, Stephen Smith conversion earned Draz KFC Old Road all 3 points, winning 1-0 over Asset Arcade Parham. Highlights from these matches will follow in a subsequent newscast. Well, 24 hours earlier, chasing their second consecutive hold of the trophy, cool and smooth AC Delco Green Bay Hoppers brought down PIC Liberta Blackhawks in the Premier Division on Sunday. Here's more in this report.
In a clinical display, Hoppers prevailed at 2-0 before hundreds of spectators at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. Following a goalless first half, the Global Bank of Commerce-sponsored side fired home early on resumption. Akil Barrett unleashed a rocket in the 51st minute, but the strike had to be confirmed by the assistant referee because it hit the net close to the crossbar and rebounded back onto the field. 14 minutes later, Eugene Kerwan outpaced the Liberta defense to make it 2-0 and become joint leading scorer with Azina Solomon of Sweets with 3 conversions. The Liberta showing was a far cry from their 2 winning performances. Like the champions, last year's runners-up Ridge 5 Islands celebrated, having the better of FC Aston Villa 2-0. In added time, just before the break, Yonde Puga nodded in a cross to snatch the advantage in what was a competitive first half. Puga's fellow Cuban, Sanders Cervantes, extended the lead in the 78th by controlling a cross and picking his spot. Earlier, the initial game of the tripleheader produced a flood of goals as Wadadli Event Services Veg International Suites overcame Triumph 4-3. Vashon James, Carl Carr, Azino Solomon and Yang Baki were on target for the new frontrunners in a clash of fluctuating fortunes. Darian and Curlin James, as well as Jason Benjamin, netted for Triumph. Sweets on 6 points lead Hoppers, Parham and Liberta on goal difference, but Parham have a game in hand.
Afterwards, the Hoppers assistant coach George Kajuwana pointed to a hard-working effort. Now, the former player noted that aggression down the flanks was a key factor.
We have spoken along, we will attack them down the flank, and basically what we did, exactly that, and it paid off for us.
Warner added that fitness is an area of concentration as they pursue back-to-back championship titles.
When you defend in the championship, it's much harder than when you're winning it. But however, we are working on our fitness level to get up, and that's exactly what we are doing. So by the time we reach up and we're still in the competition by picking up these points, I think we'll be doing good throughout this season.
Well, let's look at news and sports this morning. A reminder of one of the main stories that we're tracking on this hour. If you're just joining us, the Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for Old Saints West, the Honourable Michael Brown, now in hospital and expected to be flown out of the island within the next 24 hours after being hospitalized yesterday evening. He's expected to receive further medical attention. We understand that he was taken to hospital after complaining of chest pains. It is still unclear at this point what exactly led to those chest pains, but ABS News understands that medical officials at the Mount St. John's Medical Center have recommended that he get further medical attention overseas. But we understand, thankfully, that he is in stable condition at this point at the hospital. Certainly, we wish the minister very well indeed. The other stories that we're tracking at this hour, local Reparations Commission hopes other European entities will offer reparatory justice now that the bar has been set by UK-based Glasgow University. And the postal workers set to be relocated pending further renovations to the General Post Office. And industrial action is set to continue there. It follows significant industrial action yesterday taken by scores of workers who were complaining about working conditions that they're contending with there. So Algernon Gomes, the Postmaster General, telling ABS News that those discussions continuing with the members of or officials of the Ministries of Finance as well as the Ministry of Works to continue to address the concerns raised by the workers on that score. We'll keep you across that developing story. When we come back from this break, we'll tell you about what's making the news across the region. We'll scan the regional papers to look at what's splashed across their front pages and what's dominating the talk circuits. Later, the two coaches who are trying to identify talent for possible scholarship opportunities to two prestigious U.S. universities. Join us at 6:30. Stay with us.
Owning a home is a major investment, and your mortgage has to be secured. So why not secure it with an insurance company that would pay you back? Get coverage for your mortgage from State Insurance Corporation. And at the end of your mortgage payments, we will give you a loyalty bonus check for 25% of your total premium paid. Yes, 25%, just like that. You can use the money to do anything you wish. We truly know the value of your loyalty. Visit our website, www.sicantigua.com, to learn more about the loyalty bonus. State Insurance Corporation, for your protection and our economy.
Thank you so very much for staying with Antigua Barbuda today. You're in tune with the very best morning program anywhere on TV, on radio, online. It's the most cerebral, perspicacious, sagacious program anywhere you can watch and listen to. Turning now our attention to news across the region, let's look at three regional newspapers to look at what's being discussed on the talk circuit. So let's start with the Jamaica Observer this morning. Miracle Monday. JDF pilot survives helicopter emergency landing. Miracle Monday it's called. A Jamaica Defence Force or JDF trainee pilot flying a helicopter was forced to make an emergency landing in an open field in St. Catherine yesterday morning and miraculously survived the frightening ordeal. Late yesterday evening, the Jamaica Observer learned that the soldier whose rank and name were given only as Captain James was in stable condition at the University Hospital of the West Indies and was referred to surgery service, meaning that doctors had determined that he needed some form of special treatment. The good thing is that the pilot was able to walk away from the landing site, and we're very encouraged by that. The JDS Civil Military Corporation and Media Affairs Officer Major Basil Jarrett told journalists near the crash site. Up to press time, it is not clear what caused the pilots to land the Bell 206 platform helicopter behind Phoenix Park housing scheme about 10:40 in the morning. Damage to the aircraft, the Observer has learned, was not extensive. And that was also miraculous, wasn't it? He said the investigators will have to depend heavily on whatever they find at the site to determine the cause of the emergency landing. So Miracle Monday, extraordinary, Miracle Monday. All right, let's turn our attention to the Starbrook News this morning. The Starbrook News telling us on its front page, Jordan presents $330.7 billion budget, projects growth of 4.6% in 2019. It's budget day in Guyana. All right, so Minister of Finance Winston Jordan yesterday presented a $300.7 billion budget It should have been $330 billion budget for 2019 and projected GDP growth at 4.6% in the year before first oil. Presented under the theme Transforming the Economy, Empowering People, Building Sustainable Communities for Good Life. The budget, which is the fifth to be presented by the APNU and AFC government, is a 12.6% increase over last year's $267.1 billion budget. It projects a real economic growth of 4.6% in 2019 amid steady growth in the global economy and stable commodity prices. By the way, the income tax threshold to rise as well per annum, meaning that people will actually see more in terms of their disposable income. Small business and non-commercial companies for lower tax rates. Threshold for property capital gains taxes to rise. Remigrants to a scheme to, or re-immigrant scheme to be revamped to end abuse. A new tax regime for tobacco. So quite a bit published yesterday and quite a bit presented yesterday by Finance Minister Winston Jordan, projecting a real GDP growth of 4.6%. That would be quite significant at a time when the global economy is doing quite well, but expected there are some headwinds and there are some downside risks that are being looked at from the global economy. Who knows what Brexit will hold? Who knows, for example, when the fiscal stimulus, the tax measures announced in the US, in terms of the impact, the fall through of that runs out. We shall see what happens in Ghana. But of course, Ghana is buoyed by their new find of hydrocarbons. They have found oil and gas, and those are expected to power a new phase in their economic growth. All right, turning to the Trinidad Express finally this morning. The Trinidad Express telling us on its front page, toxic bias. Gymnast Thema wins case against Olympics exclusion, awarded $2 million. Close to 12 million, actually it was big. She did not get close to the 11 million she was seeking in compensation, but local gymnast Thema Williams has succeeded in her claim of bias against the Trinidad and Tobago Gymnastics Federation, the TTGF. Williams had taken the TTGF to court following its decision to substitute her with Canadian-born alternate Marisa Dick to represent this country in the 2016 Rio Olympics. And she sued and she got, it's not clear on that front page whether it's 0.2 million or 2 million. All right. Also on the front page of the Trinidad Express, in a country awash with the blood of its citizens, here is a case that is an example of all that is wrong with the system and proof that justice is not for all. Almost 5 years ago, Cedrus couple Krishna and Radna Ramdeen were murdered in their home during a burglary. That one, still not clear. Who killed Cedrus couple? Still not clear. Still up in the air about that one, and that one's still a mystery. It says that it's proof that justice is not for all. Let's hope that there is some closure and clarity to that one. I look there at our regional papers to look at what's dominating the talk circuits, what's dominating the headlines around the region. So we've been to 3 territories. We've been to Jamaica, Miracle Monday, a JDF trading pilot crashing, crash landing, emergency landing, but miraculously he survived. Extensive damage, or not extensive damage actually to the craft, but thankfully he survived and is not bad either. Also from the from Guyana, we looked at the fact that there is a budget that was put on the table yesterday. Significant increase from yesterday and projecting 4.6% growth in the economy and also in Trinidad and Tobago. Finality, closure to a case against the Olympics Association. When we come back from this break, we'll turn our attention to sports and national development, how sports can be used as a vehicle for national development. We speak with Jaymee Hichcock and Kevin Brennan, 2 coaches who are here from the U.S., 2 prestigious universities in the United States, using sports, primarily football, to provide scholarships to some of this country's budding football talent. We're talking about sports as a vehicle for national development. We've always said it. Sports can be a vehicle for not just national pride and also to get our young people gainfully and engaged in wholesome activity, but it's also an opportunity, a window of opportunity and a vista of opportunity for their own personal and professional development and as well for broader aggregate national development. When we come back, Jaymee Hichcock, Kevin Brennan will be our guests. Stay with us.
It's going to be a festive Glow Christmas pack with great deals. Get free WhatsApp voice, video, pic, video sharing, messaging, plus 2 times the data. Antigua with your new Alcatel A1 for just $199 when you buy a prepaid XL combo plan. Plus, a chance to win 50-inch Samsung TVs, weekly shopping sprees, and trendy mobile handsets. Light up your Christmas on the always faster, always connected Flow 4G LTE network. Visit one of our stores and make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Conditions apply.
I have so much to do next week. I wonder where I'll get the outfits for everything. Oh my God, Exotic Antigua. That's perfect. I'll get just what I need for the job interview, that fete, and the beach picnic.
Exotic Antigua specializes in cool, colorful clothing and accessories for women. Just perfect for every occasion. Outfits for work, church, graduations, parties, and fetes, or that trip to the beach. We offer reasonable pricing for all sizes and colors, and the best customer service. Of course, check out the most amazing selection of linen pants, shorts, and shirts for men. There's so much more at Exotic Antigua. Visit us anytime, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the historic Redcliffe Quay, St. John's, Antigua. Exotic Antigua.
Every weekday, 9 to 10 a.m., join me for Life with Natalie on ABS Radio 90.5 FM. Life, let's claim it.
The Halo Foundation presents Music for Cause. Music for Cause. December 1st from 7 p.m. at Clarence House. Under the stars with a master of sax out of Barbados, Arturo Tappan. Arturo Tappan. And the queen of reggae herself, Marcia Griffith from Jamaica. Along with Black Gold, DJ Purist, Leslie Nanta, Jay Shan Hugh, Dana Barnes, and more. An amazing lineup of entertainment under the auspices of the Governor General, all for charity. $200 food and drinks, all inclusive, with authentic international cuisine. It's not just music, it's music for cause. December 1st from 7 p.m. at Clarence House. Tickets available at Townhouse Megastore, the office of the Governor General, and Falmouth Harbor Marina. Powered by Lava International, Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company, and Liat 1974 Limited.
Expo Novelty Expo Colombia is here again at the same venue, the Multipurpose Center at Perry's Bay, from Saturday 17 November 2018 with new products. Get all your Christmas gifts for the entire family. Come and make good use of the Black Friday sales at Expo Novelty. There'll be hundreds of products at incredible prices, such as body scan, detox, and a whole lot more. Don't stay at home, you know. Come and discover a whole lot more at Expo Novelty, Expo Colombia. Remember, we are starting Saturday, November 17 daily from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. See you there. See you there. See you there.
Thank you so very much for staying with Antigua, Barbuda today. As we said, the very best morning program anywhere on TV, on radio, online. Our first hour, the news hour, and at 6:30, we go in-depth on an issue that we think you need to know more about. We get far more contextual information on a subject. And this morning, our subject is a nexus between sports and national development. Because there is really no difference between sports and national development. Sports is a vehicle, one of the best vehicles for national development. And on the individual level, it inures to the benefit of our young people because it gives them an opportunity for personal and professional development. And what else epitomizes this more than a combine that is now being held to identify football talent, budding football talent in this country for scholarship opportunities at William Penn University and Drake University. Well, the two coaches who are here to identify that talent, they have been brought in by GN Sports Club, the GNFC, and they're here to identify talent. They started yesterday and it's happening at the ABFA Technical Training Center at Painters. They've started yesterday, and they will continue this evening and tomorrow evening. They're here, and they leave the island on Thursday. They'll be here with us to talk about what they've seen so far and what they expect to see for the next 2 evenings at Painters. Very good morning to Jaymee Hichcock from William Penn University, and to Jaymee's left is Kevin Brennan from Drake University. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellent. All right, so Jaymee Hichcock, Kevin Brennan. Let me start with Jaymee. What was the experience yesterday from what you've seen?
It was fantastic. The kids come out and they really put on a good show for us. We started with the men, and we probably had about 50 kids there, and then we added a few more as the session went on, and they seemed really hungry to show us what they could do. They were ready to learn. They come with a great attitude to the game. We obviously had a few classroom sessions with them prior in the week, so we maybe touched on some of the questions that they had then regarding some of the academic concerns, but they did very well. And then the women followed after, and they really give it their all as well. So it was a good evening.
Excellent. And Kevin?
Yeah. No, we were really pleased with the numbers on the boys' side. I think age range, maybe the youngest guys we had were about 14, 15, up to maybe 21, 22-year-olds, which is the range that we can recruit from.
Yes.
And yes, some really hungry young guys who wanted to get out there and play. And then the girls numbers, we were hoping to be a little bit better. Hopefully the next few days they'll improve. But in terms of talent and ability, we were really, really pleased.
Excellent. And just a reminder of viewers and our listeners that for the males, the age range is between 16 and 20 years of age, and for females, it's 15 to 19 years. What are the numbers of scholarships that you're looking for, gentlemen, in terms of for both the universities, for William Penn and Drake? Let me start with William Penn. How many are you looking at?
I mean, we're looking for anyone that's good enough, really, academically and athletically. When we were here in May, we actually signed 2 kids from Antigua, so we have 2 on our team already. And we're hoping to sign at least another 2 guys, and hopefully 1 girl, at least from what we saw yesterday. But I mean, our scholarship is a little bit different system because we're in different divisions. But if they're academically and they're athletically good enough, we're going to look at them all. And we want this to be a regular thing that we can keep coming and keep offering scholarships, not just for our universities as well, for our contacts and connections. We want to provide these professional opportunities overseas, obviously scholarship opportunities overseas, or even soccer academies overseas. So it's more than sometimes just what we're looking for. We're also looking for other aspects as well.
Excellent. So you're looking at at least 2, are you saying at least 2 overall, over what you would have seen yesterday? In other words, I'm looking at overall for the 3 days you're here.
Yeah.
How many scholarships you're looking?
I would say at least 2 guys, and at least 1 girl, but ultimately it just depends on how good they are athletically and academically. But the signs were very good from yesterday, and there was some good talent on the field.
Excellent. And in terms of Kevin?
Yeah, our parameters are a little bit different. It's, like Jaymee said, it's a matter of talent and how good they are, but it's also very, very important that the academics are right for my particular university, just because we are quite specific in what we can accept and what we can bring in. So it's not a matter of numbers in terms of scholarship. It's more, what amount of the kids out there match the profile of our particular university. But then moving forward, we want to just provide a platform for these players to showcase their talents elsewhere in the United States. We're helping with Ricky and GNFC and the ABFA to help these kids and educate these kids on what the process can look like and how they can help maybe identify a university in the States other than ours that works for them.
Excellent, because there are other possibilities as well, gentlemen, apart from your universities. And for example, for those who might be very good in terms of their football talent and their football skills, who might not necessarily have met up to the specific academic requirements, there are other opportunities available. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so our universities obviously go in different realms, academically, athletically, higher and different levels respectively. But yeah, there's also, if we can find the standout soccer player, so to speak, we might be able to send him straight to a professional club. If there's a youngster who is very talented and fits in certain requirements, we could maybe send him to a professional academy either overseas in Europe or some of the professional academies that they have in the USA. So yeah, there's lots of things that we're taking into consideration when we're looking at the kids.
Very good. You mentioned that this could open the door for more frequent trips, for example, more frequent collaborations with, for example, GNFC and other sporting bodies here. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, like we talked about, we were down here in May and we were working with the ABFA during the Women's World Cup qualifying campaign, and made some fantastic contacts, and we got to know Ricky and the guys at GNFC, and really for myself and Jaymee, our eyes were open to just how much talent there is on the island, and really I think just a few little tweaks and maybe a few little trips back and forth for us to help really cultivate that talent, and then create a platform for them to get recruited to the United States is very, very realistic, and it's something that we'd love to help out. We both work in the United States, but we're not from America. We're English originally, as you can probably tell from the accent.
Yes, I hear that.
And so we were the same. We were young, aspiring football players, and we had the opportunity to go and study and get a degree in the States, and now we have a career in football. And really, we just want to help other kids see that path and see that reality, and hopefully realize that reality.
Excellent. I'm going to be asking you shortly about the kind of nexus between the academics and the sports, because there are still some parents who want to see almost as mutually exclusive. It's one or the other. It's either you do well in academics or you do well in sports. And they don't understand that you can actually do well in both. And in fact, it is good to encourage your young people to do well in both, because it makes them more rounded. But before that, let me ask you about, in terms of your football programs at your respective universities, how well do you do? I mean, what's been your level of achievement? Let me start with Jaymee in terms of William Penn. What has William Penn been doing in terms of football?
We had our biggest and most successful year this past year. We finished 14-5. We broke every school record in history, which was wins, shutouts, consecutive wins, highest league position, and we got up to number 18 in America. So in the whole of America, we got to number 18 in the nation, which was a major factor. We got a new stadium, we got a new locker room, we signed a big contract with Nike, and we've been having great success. But this year, it was probably our most successful, or certainly was, the most successful season in school history. So we're doing really big things at William Penn. We're sending guys to the pros regularly. We have 21 nationalities on our team, so it's a great place to be, and hopefully we can find some more talent. We have 2 Antiguans already. We have kids from Haiti, Bahamas, Barbados on our team, and we want to help Antigua though. Antigua is what we want to help. They've helped us by sending us players, and we want to keep giving more, getting more on the team. I'm the head men's and women's coach. So we want to get some females in the team as well, and we're trying to work with everyone here to make both things happen.
Excellent. Let's talk about the 2 Antiguans. How have they been doing?
They've been very good. So we've got Johan Derek, which was a guy who transferred in from a university that he was playing in America, played centre-back for us, very good player, suffered a little bit of injuries, but still was a big part of our success. And then we've got Shalon Knight, who's currently on the U20 national team, who's played for the senior national team, who we worked alongside many people with in Antigua to get him into America. We signed him very late. I didn't actually think we were going to almost sign him at times, but he'd come in, and he's a fantastic kid, fantastic player. And honestly, if it wasn't for 2 of those guys, we wouldn't have had such a successful season. They're getting a lot of publicity. They're putting our school nationally on the map, and we're hoping that we can send them to the pros.
Excellent, excellent. So there is a clear path for success, and in others, these are shining examples to show that students from this country have done well academically and in terms of football, and they're there to light the way for others. What about Drake University?
Yeah, we've done, last couple of years, we've done quite well. I think in the last 4 years, we won our conference twice. We finished 2nd this year. And we've been very close. We've got right to the last game before qualifying for the national tournament, which is kind of the biggest stage that there is in the sport in our country. So, yeah, we've done very, very well. We're kind of at the edge where we need, we need a difference maker. We need maybe that little X factor, and
you need a talisman.
Absolutely.
or 2.
And maybe there's an Antiguan talisman out there for us.
Excellent, excellent. I didn't get to ask you in terms of the numbers you're looking for Drake University for scholarships. I'd asked Jaymee, but not you.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's probably, it's maybe a little bit smaller. It's not so much a matter of how many we have. It's whether we can find that 1 or 2, those 1 or 2 players who academically are the right fit, and also soccer-wise were the right fit. So,
excellent.
Yeah, we're hopeful that we can find a couple.
Excellent. So there's still an opportunity of course, you'll see more talent this evening.
Correct.
And tomorrow evening.
Correct.
You leave the island on Thursday. When will you make a determination about scholarships and about the successful participants?
Well, we saw most of their athletic abilities on the field last night, and over the next few days we'll see more of it. We'll go in more research and depth to their academic abilities now, and then if it all matches up, then hopefully we can really start putting things in writing and having some serious conversations. This is just the start for them, so hopefully we can provide them that platform, and then we can kick on from there. So we should know within the next few days, basically, to answer your question.
Few days.
Yeah.
Okay. After you would have left.
Yeah.
And after you would have gone back, done some drilling down in terms of their academics, especially having seen their athletic skills. Same thing for you, Jim?
Yeah, I think so. And also, we're working with some of the younger guys. On the we had males and females last night who were 14, 15, and so really. This is as much an identification as it is an education moment for them, and we're saying, hey, as a 15-year-old, you're quite good. You need to continue focusing on your studies and your academics as well as your football ability. And then in the next 12 months, 18 months, that's when we can really start to bring them out to the States. So, for those players who are old enough right now, like Jaymee said, in the next days and weeks is when we'll make determinations. But for those younger guys, it's very much right now about kind of making a clear path for them and showing them that path and hopefully helping them walk down that path.
Excellent. Let's talk about showing them that path. Let's talk about the path of both sport development and also academic development. And the fact that both work hand in hand. What do you say to those parents who are still a little bit skeptical as to whether or not their children should be participating in sport, should be focusing so much attention on sports? So, for example, there are those parents who think that after school, when their children should be doing academic homework, should not be the time when they should be participating in training for sports. What would you say to those parents, having been yourselves, both yourselves, recipients of scholarships for sports? Let me start with Kevin.
Yeah, there's studies have been done on this that athletes actually on an average, athletes have higher grades than non-athletes. And there's a multitude of factors that come into play. Ultimately, the biggest one is having that discipline and that time management and that focus. And in the States, it's one before the other, if that makes sense. You are a student athlete, and unless they're getting good grades in the classroom, unless they're doing their homework, getting assignments in on time, they're not able to participate in the sports.
Yes.
And very quickly, the players kind of get conditioned, and the students get conditioned to understand that is part of their routine. And yeah, it really helps them to know that I have 3 hours to play soccer, and then I have 3 hours to study afterwards. So yeah, we find that when you take away the soccer, it actually affects their grades.
Because the time management is not there, and the kind of discipline and the commitment to the task is not there. What about you,
Yeah, it's exactly right. If you don't meet grade requirements, excuse me, you can't play soccer. So they really come hand in hand. And when we do travel on long bus rides or long flights to play games, we set up study halls. They have to study on the bus. They don't just get a day off. If we get back from bus trip at 5 a.m. in the morning, they've still got to go to class at 7 a.m. in the morning. Because ultimately, if you don't pass school, you don't play soccer, and then obviously you're not playing soccer, you don't get the academics. So we want them to say that staying in school is good for soccer, and playing soccer is good for school. It's a very slim amount of people that can play professional soccer, but no one can ever take that degree away from you. You get it for 4 years, you put it in. Obviously, the degree you receive in America is usually very strong. So yeah, we get the balance right, and it really helps our student athletes.
Excellent. So a word to the parents. Please encourage your students, encourage your children to play sports, because there's that symbiosis. There's a symbiotic relationship between sports, doing well in sports and doing well academically. Let me ask you about the collaboration with GN Sports Club, which I think GN Sports Club, GNFC, football club, GN Football Club has done an extraordinary job in terms of unearthing talent, in terms of nurturing talent and providing vehicles for opportunity. What do you make of their work, Kevin?
Yeah, we've been bowled over by the welcome from GNFC and from Ricky. Like I said, we were here in May, and we were working kind of exclusively with the ABFA, and we got to meet Ricky and GNFC, and everybody's been wonderful. And certainly with GNFC, they seem to be focusing on creating pathways for those players to continue progressing, developing, and then move on. So we've been really impressed overall.
Excellent. And
yeah, it's been fantastic. We can see there's a clear vision in youth soccer. We're trying to create more ways about female soccer. That's one thing that we really do want to stress. We've been going around to a number of Caribbean islands now, and we really want to promote the female side of soccer. We really want to enhance that and help that. But ultimately, we just want to impact the youth, and through Ricky's club and through GNFC, we have seen that, you know, he's got some good pathways. He's very organised in what he does, and he's trying to do the right things. We're trying to do the right things. He's trying to do the right things. So it's working very well so far.
Let me ask you finally, gentlemen, both your perspectives. If you were to, for example, from what you've seen so far, you weren't here in May, you're back here now to look at unearthing fresh talent. If you were to identify one area, one or two low-hanging fruit for the football officials in this country to drive the football program, to take it to the very next level, both in terms of the male and the female side, what would it be? Let me start with you, Kevin.
I think the female side, it has to be kind of collaboration and integration. You know, I think there are some very, very good players here. I think that there needs to be more encouragement and more cohesion in simply, you know, showing up to some of these events, and it maybe instead of the teams kind of operating in separate silos, you know, creating a league for them all to play in, and then when they get together for the national team, there's much more understanding and cohesion between them. And then, like Jaymee said, certainly there's an incredible amount of money and resources in the female side of soccer. You know, in the United States, it's the highest supported, financially, it's the highest supported sport in the country. So, yeah, for the women, that's what I would recommend.
Excellent. And this is for the national program I'm talking?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. And
I think, yeah, regarding, you know, the bigger picture, there needs to be an investment in youth. You know, you need to almost put winning aside now, and you need to development on the future. We've seen it being from England, seeing our national programs, being in the USA, seeing their national programs. You can't always win now, but if you do the right things at the grassroots and at the youth level, get full-time coaches, you know, build leagues and infrastructure, then you will have more higher rewards in 5 to 10 years, because there's so much potential in Antigua. There are some terrific players, and the name in its Antigua is such a powerful name around the world. And, you know, when we go back to the USA and we say we're in Antigua, everyone's always like, wow, 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 it's a great country. And it's a fantastic country with amazing resources. But I do think it's underachieving at the national level. But I see the youngsters and the group of players that are coming through now. In 5 or 10 years, these guys can be terrific, but a few things need fine-tuning for them to reach the Gold Cup and then to reach the World Cup, because you've got to reach the Gold Cup maybe before you reach the World Cup. But the potential's here. It's just a case of unearthing it.
For the next 2 evenings, what would you say for the youngsters, who are both males and females, who are going to be showing off their talent to yourselves at the ABFA Technical Training Facility? What would you say to them, finally? Starting with you, Kevin.
Yeah, if they haven't already signed up and registered, just to get onto the GNFC website or social media and follow the links so they can get registered, and then we can be aware of them. And then for those who are already registered, you know, keep listening, keep doing what we've been asking for them, keep training hard and showcasing their talents.
Excellent. And final word.
Yeah, we would like to see a few more females if we're really getting specifically into detail. But we want this to be a regular thing. We want to come here at least once or twice a year. We want to maybe get involved some role or some capacity with football in Antigua. So we want to help not just these kids for the next 2 days, but we want to leave them with a lasting experience that if they go to school or if they go to soccer training, that they add some of the things in that we've been talking about. Like Kevin said, if they come ready and they come on time to work hard, we're looking forward to seeing them over the next few days.
All right, Jaymee Hichcock, William Penn University.
Thank you very much.
Kevin Brennan from Drake University. Our absolute pleasure having you, gentlemen. And we hope that you will be able to unearth more talent over this evening and tomorrow evening. We really appreciate it. And we hope that there are more students who get the opportunity to shine through football scholarships. It is a nexus between sports and academics, which is extraordinary. It has worked for so many, and it can work for many more for young people. All right, time now for us to go over to the birthday news. Steve, I was free.